This is your wrist mobility series. So to start off with, we're going to do palm push-ups. You'll be on all fours, so hands and knees. And from here, want to make sure that our shoulder, the top of our shoulder, is in line with our knuckles or forward of our knuckles. The more mobility you have in your wrist, the further forward you'll be able to get. But to start off with, if you can just get here, that is absolutely fine. There's also a regression that we could do against a wall to start off with if you wanted to. You can do this against a wall. But to start with here, we're going to think about gripping the ground with our fingers and then pushing our palms off the ground. So keeping your fingers on the ground, push your palms off the ground. On the way down, control it on the way down. Don't just drop, control it on the way down. And you can get as many as you can if you want. 10 to 15 is pretty good to start with, and you just build from there. Where you're aiming to go with this one day is moving further forward, bring your hips further forward, and doing them from here. So more into a push-up position. One day, full push-up position. I can't do that yet, I'm not going to show you. Second exercise is a wrist push-up. This one, you want to have a soft mat for your hands or your wrists. Your fingers are going to be pointing backwards, hands wider than shoulders. So I'll show you this way. That's the position I'm in. As I go down, forehead to the ground, my elbows are going to go out to the side. And then as I come up, I'm going to lock out my elbows. So it looks like this from the front. I go down, touch my head to the ground, and then pushing through my wrists to try and lock out my elbows at the top. You'll notice they're locked out when they wind open. So you're trying to get the crease of your elbow to point forwards, the pointy part to point backwards. To start off with, this is going to feel quite tight and maybe horrible all through the front of your forearm. Down, up, lock out. Thinking about pushing down through your wrists is important here. Push through your wrists. If you can't do this, be very gentle to start off with, and if you can't do it, just don't do it to start with, right? You could try going softer with your wrists, so maybe pillows, something like that, but just be gentle to start with. If you want to progress this, or to progress this, you just move further away, so there's more load going through your wrists. Okay, and trying to lock out. Third one is fist push-ups. So for this one, we come down, keep your hands close to your knees is fine. So I'm here, elbows out to the sides. And we want to maintain fists as best as we can as we push through the wrists to try and lock out your elbows. What's going to want to happen is as you grip your fists strong, you'll find that you'll get to about here, and then the tension in the back of your arms will just be too much. Your fingers will unravel if you try to lock out, so that's a common thing that will happen, or you just won't be able to get there to start with. What I'll say, so right now it feels like it's tearing for me, but the more you do this, the more you'll get from it, the better you'll get with it. So I can feel scar tissue from when I broke my arm when I was a little kid. All right? So the more I do this, the better I get. And the more comfortable it gets, the easier it gets, the more strength I can create through my fists. Really important 3 exercises to restore mobility to your wrist, which will improve your pulling and pressing power.